Well, it is glad to be back in the driver's seat, ladies and gentlemen. It is Dub Did It coming at you again live and direct. Now, I know it's been quite a while since I've been in the booth, but I've been going through some stuff. For one, I probably had the coronavirus for a good month. Now, that hasn't been confirmed, but it's possible that I had it. I matched all the symptoms down to a T. But I'm feeling a little bit better now. And not to mention, since I'm obviously no longer a freaking dope dealer, I have a full-time job, and it's a job that takes a lot of my time. So YouTube had to suffer. But guess what? I got the weekend off. Well, actually, I had to work today, 6 days a week. That's what I work. And I said, screw it. You know what? I owe the guys a video. And that's what I'm going to do. And it's going to be a doozy. Is doozy even a good thing? I don't know if that's good or bad. But it's going to be a good one. Alright, so as you guys know, this channel revolves around C-A-R-A-K. Dealing, wheeling, and all that other stuff that goes along with it. Right? And like I always tell you guys, it doesn't last forever. Don't do it. Stay away from it. You may ask, why am I so adamant that it doesn't last forever? Well, because I went through it. Alright? And I also told you guys, I didn't go to jail. I didn't go to prison for it. And obviously I'm not dead. So what happened? What happened to me that just makes me want to stay away from the game in general? Well, perhaps if I tell you guys what I went through after everything went away, maybe you'll understand. So let's go ahead and let's just get started. Let's jump right into this bullshit. Now, before I started selling dope, I was a 9-to-5 kind of guy, had a family, and did all that normal bullshit. Worked, etc., etc., etc. Left one baby mama and kids, had another baby mama. And when I met her, she was selling dope. And I was like, wow, that's pretty easy. So, I kind of watched her do it and learned the game a little bit and whatever. You know what I'm saying? I didn't plan on doing it. She did it, but whatever. And after a while, she fell off or whatever the fuck. And I ended up moving into an area where I knew some people around there and they smoked dope. Her family also happened to be connected, so I ended up buying little flipper packs from them, and shit, they were giving me top quality shit, so I started flipping. And I did that for a little while, and I came up pretty quick, but unfortunately that time I had picked up a felony case, and I was fairly young, and I didn't want to fuck up probation or nothing like that, so I put off the dope dealing for a little bit. And started working normal, legit jobs as much as I could, because I ended up getting fired from my job because of that freaking felony 2 years after it happened and 2 years after I told them about it, but whatever. And so I collected unemployment for a good little while, got off probation, and tried to work again. And I was working at a call center selling some fucking satellite radio bullshit, and it was I don't know what I'd say about that job. It was a job. Pay wasn't that good at all, but it was easy fucking work. You know what I mean? All I did was just sit there and bullshit, snort lines of heroin off my desk. Yeah, people that were popping Lord tabs and shit, and I just happened to go from Lord tabs to heroin, and I ended up meeting some people that so dope there, and they put me on with their connects, and I started doing that. Well, I ended up getting into it with my boss, and fucking quitting that job. I'm like, fuck this job, man. I'm making X amount of dollars a week. I don't need this motherfucking shit. I'm Dub Did It, bitch. And so I left, and I hustled and I bustled. I dealt with the bullshit, and I came up little by little by little, and by the time you know it, I was the motherfucking man. I was the crack king of the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn, but motherfuckers coming around from all over the city telling me I had the best shit in the city. You understand? With my little recipe I done provided to you guys, that was the best shit down here at the time. But anyways, I'm not trying to glorify any of that shit. So I did that, but with all good things, they eventually come to an end. And I got fucked over by, I guess we'll say, some people that I thought were my friends. They straight up fucking did me dirty. Not only did they do me dirty, they ended up fucking me up with my plugs. Now, I'm not going to say too much about them, but they're some serious ass fucking people. Very serious people. And, when they found out shit fucked up, they weren't fucking happy about it at all. At all. Now, they didn't kill me, obviously. But the threat was always looming over my head. And there was a time there that I waited for it. I accepted it. I'd sit there at my house and look out the door, shooting up dope, smoking cigarettes, so waiting for them to pull up. Even though I paid them mostly back everything, I was like, man, they're still gonna come fucking take me out. And day in and day out, just did what I did, you know what I mean? And I'd wait. And nobody ever came. Thankfully. Why? I don't know. I don't fucking know. I mean, maybe because it wasn't even that much that I owed. Maybe they knew that they were even trying to tax me to begin with. But whatever the reason is, that, they never came back. Now, if I ever see them again, I'm going to pay off whatever little tab there, just, hopefully get them completely off my back. But after a while, I had to accept the fact that dealing was done. But unfortunately, one of the things that I picked up during this little time frame, during this, obviously I mentioned earlier in the story, was the fact that I was doing heroin. Now, even though the money went away and all that went away, I was still stuck with a fucking huge habit. I was doing over $1,400 a week worth of heroin. And that's about $200 a day. Never knew what it was like to be sick. Never experienced dope sickness. Ever. Unless I was just waiting for my connect. But now I was in trouble. Now I didn't have the money to support that $200 habit. And I had no idea what the fuck to do. You know what I mean? So I obviously sold everything that I had. Once I sold everything that I had, I fucking started going all through my house looking for money. And I found a surprisingly good amount of money in my house. Good amount. Little stashes that I put up here and there, and that lasted me for a while. But that money went away pretty quick. And after that, I don't know, I can't even remember. My brain won't let me remember what the fuck happened. I guess I just was sick. You know what I mean? Because my problem was that I wasn't a typical junkie. I didn't know how to go out in the streets and scam people for money or I didn't know how to do none of that shit. But sure enough, I mean, obviously I didn't quit, so I had to have made at least $20 a day. Something, you know what I mean? But after I ran out of fucking crazy random ideas to get little bits of cash here and there, I finally decided, you know what? I need to figure this shit out. Either I gotta quit or I gotta do something. So the part of my town nearby my house where the rest of the drug addicts are at, And I said, fuck it, man. They could do it. I could do it. I could panhandle. So I went out that first day. And I was out there probably about 14 hours. And I think I made like $18. That's fucking terrible. But I did it. I sure as hell did it. And that day in itself was a fucking adventure. Met a lot of people out there. And I remember there was one part of the day where I was just fucking sick. But anyway, so that day, yeah, I ended up, that was the first day out. I ended up making the money. But it just wasn't doing it for me. You know, I was like, screw this. This is bullshit, man. It gotta be something else. So, I don't know what happened. Somehow me and my sister got into the habit of shoplifting from Walmart. So just about pretty much every day, we'd go to Walmart, we'd hustle up we'd jack the shit, go out and hustle it, and we'd go buy the shit. Oh yeah, by the way, my sister started doing the shit. She fucking, one day I was really sick, right? I was fucking sick. And she's like, well, I'll give you half the money if you give me a little bit. I was like, Jeanette, no, I'm not going to give you no dope. What's wrong with you? She's like, well, that's the only way I'm going to help you out. And I was fucking sick. I said, man, Jeanette. I said, fuck, man. I said, all right, I'm going to give you a little bit, man, but don't ever ask me again. Straight up. And fuck, man, I hate myself for doing that, but I was a fucking dope fiend, you know what I mean? So she got into it. And, you know, I tried to look out for as much as possible. You know, I made sure that, you know, we weren't in danger or nothing like that. If she was, you know, didn't want to go out and jack or whatever, I'd go out and I'd do it, or I'd go scam or do whatever the fuck I'd do. And make sure we got the dope. She ended up quitting, though. So then it was just me. And I was scared to go into places by myself, but fuck it, I had no choice. So I started jacking the stores and, you know, going out there and getting into the groove of things. You know what I'm saying? I eventually learned how to fucking do it. And while I was out there, met, you know, other people that did the same kind of drug as me, and, you know, people that were in the same spot hurting. And, you know, we'd team up and we'd go jack stores and make money, and you know, if one of us had, you know, a little less than the other, you know, we'd help each other out, and that was the cool part. There was a lot of what's the word, camaraderie out there between heroin users, and that was all right, because it was like, no matter how bad things were, you at least knew that you weren't going through it alone. Because as a heroin user, heroin addict, your family and friends, they all start to distance themselves from you. And, you know, that could fuck you up in your head. But when you're out there, you got other people going through the same shit, so it's all good. You know what I mean? You know, they're not judging you. And, you know, you're not judging them. And you find some real friendships out there. And even to this day, I'm grateful for those friendships. But, you know, the sad truth of the matter is, though, a lot of those friends that I met during that time have died. That's right, died. And I'm not talking natural causes, you know what I mean? And I'm not talking dying of old age. These were young people. Youngest dude that I knew out there that I feel personally responsible was 19 years old. He died. I introduced him to heroin. I introduced him to it. And I would tell him, look, dude, don't fucking do this shit unless I'm around. That way, I'm going to watch out. I said, because you can go out there, bro, and other people ain't going to look out for you. But, you know, I went through a lot of ups and downs, and there was a time that I was doing good, and, you know, I got off the streets and didn't have time to hang out with him. So he went off and he did his own thing. He started hanging around some other heroin addicts, and they were giving him Xanax and scoring him, you know, his own dope. You know, me, I would just give him a little bit of mine. But they were scoring his own dope. And I never forget it. He went to my house one day. He looked terrible, man. He looked pale as shit. Had no color in his face. Damn, Dub, I feel like I'm gonna die. I was like, what do you mean, bro? You overdosing or what? He's like, nah, I just feel it coming. I was like, dude, you be alright? He's like, well, what are you doing? I said, tired, bro. You gotta work. He's like, well, let's chill. I was like, nah, bro. I'll fuck with you tomorrow, bro. I'll see what's up. Oh, alright. So he takes off walking. And a couple days later, I get a message on Facebook from a mutual friend of ours telling me that he's passed away. And that moment, I felt tremendous guilt. I felt like I picked up a gun and shot him. 19 years old. It's fucked up. Another friend of mine, Martin. Me, him, and that other dude, we were a little team. We'd go out there and we'd hustle together. And same thing, I was off the streets. Martin was older, closer to my age. He was using long enough, but he overdosed as well. That was probably like a month after what's his face overdosed, and the list goes on. That's just something that happens out there, and that's what the rest of the world says, I guess. That's just something that happens out there. Who the fuck are they? Just a bunch of fucking junkies and people on the streets. And, they go nameless. I'm not. Obviously I got a little YouTube channel here. My videos are alright, you know what I mean? I got 2 videos that got well over 100,000 views. So I guess I'm not completely nameless. So at least for this video, I want to dedicate this video to the motherfuckers that passed away in the streets. Because we're not fucking nameless people. We're people like you, and you. Addiction does not fucking discriminate. Alright? I was a fucking drug dealer. I was a fucking crack dealer. Now, I'm not saying that I was anything good. But when you think crack dealer, you think, somebody on top of their shit. And I hit rock bottom. I hit rock fucking bottom. I almost ended up spending the rest of my life in prison because I hit rock bottom. Eventually, I burned up all the stores that I was going to the jack from. You know what I mean? So, my tactics started getting a little bit more brazen, a little bit more aggressive. And a lot of the times we just go into the stores and we didn't care who was watching. It didn't matter. We weren't worried about the cameras. We weren't worried about security. There were times we weren't even worried about the cops. They had cops there at these stores. It didn't matter to us. We'd go in and take what the fuck we wanted. But one of those trips got me thrown in jail for quite a few months they charged me with robbery. And again, it's just because I didn't care that they were trying to follow me. I don't know. Something was said, or I don't know. They said that I made a threat or whatever the fuck, and that constituted robbery. And they actually charged me with 2 counts of robbery. And I was looking at going away for a long time, but thankfully I had a good ass court-appointed lawyer, and that got taken care of. Thank God for that. But that was fucked up. All I was trying to do was just get my shit for the fucking day. Just get my day started. Go in and boom, that's it. I don't go back. Now, the fucked up part about that is, at that time, they just diagnosed my dad, who was 52 at the time, with liver cancer. And breaks my fucking heart even thinking about it. I miss my dad, by the way. Rest in peace, Jesse. Um, Hold on. All right, let me get a grip. A few days, probably about a week before I went to jail, I was praying to God, let me get clean, let me get sober for my dad. That way, if he passes away, he's gonna know that I'm clean and sober. And I told God I'd promise this and that if he just shows me a way. And I didn't, I'm sort of religious, but whatever. Anyways, my dad was getting sicker, and he would tell me, son, look, I'll give you the money for your shit. Just stay home and help me out. Nah, Dad, I need to go. I need to go do this. I need to go do that. I'll help you out a little bit, but I gotta go. And I regret that. It made me feel like a piece of shit. And one of those days, that's when I get charged with that robbery. My dad gets sentenced to death. They tell him he gets 3 to 6 months to live. Guess what? I might not be out in time to see him one more time. You know what I mean? So when I got locked up, I wasn't worried about me going to do X amount of years in prison. I welcomed that. I needed to get clean. I was more worried about never being able to see my dad again. But I knew that he knew that I was safe, that I wasn't out in the streets, I wasn't overdosing, I wasn't doing anything stupid where I was going to get myself killed or hurt somebody. And I talked to him on the phone one time, and he confirmed that. He's like, son, it's messed up, you're in there, but I'm glad you're safe. And when I went in, I was there for a few months, 4 or 5 months. My dad, about 6 feet tall, 5'11", something like that. 200 plus pounds. Always worked outside. Hard worker, strong man. Yeah, he was in good shape when I went in. When I came out, he looked like he was damn near 80 years old. But I was glad that I got to see him. And then I got to spend a couple more months with him. And man, I miss my dad. He would always tell me, hey son, come over, take me to the store, I'll give you money. And I'd always go, and I would try to spend as much time with my dad as I could. But even with the condition that he was in, I still thought that I had forever left with my dad, and I didn't see him as much as I did. I mean, I didn't see him as much as I wanted to, or as much as I should have, as much as he wanted me to. And to this day, I regret that. It makes me sick. They say that time heals all, and this and that. Just seems like time makes it get worse. And all of this because I was strung out. Nothing fucking mattered to me. I mean, I told myself that it did, but the actions that I took, the choices that I made, the decisions that I made, the places that I was at, shows otherwise. At times I feel like I got my dad sick. I feel like he worried about me too much. I feel like, just that worry in his stomach caused the cancer. But, he lasted long enough to see me get clean. At least that. He lasted long enough to see me get a legit job. And he knew I was doing good. He didn't want to die. He fought and fought and fought and fought and fought hard. The doctors had him on so many fucking medicines. It was ridiculous. They were trying to keep him in a coma or whatever. But he fought. And I would lie. I'd be lying if I said that I stayed clean after that. Because I had other bouts of getting fucked up again. And now I'm fucking clean. And I choose to stay clean because I don't know. I guess because I know that drug cost me so much. It was my friend when I had money. When I was a dope dealer, heroin was the answer to all my prayers. But once I couldn't support her anymore, chewed me up and spit me out. Why do I want to go back to that? You know what I mean? Why? But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this video is already gone on long enough. This is part 1, so tomorrow's part 2. I'm going to tell you guys about how we'll talk about some shit tomorrow. That'll be good, I promise. Sorry I got a little too into it, but you know what it is. Keep it real, keep it live 100%. You know what I'm saying? Like, subscribe, all the bullshit. Check out my other videos. And there's a big project that I want to work on. But I need to take some time off of work. So, I don't know. I hate doing this kind of shit, but I'm going to put up a little GoFundMe. I just need to, get enough money to take a few months off so I can work on that project. It's going to be a full-blown movie kind of sort of deal, if you will. But anyways, stay tuned for the next video. Dub out.